exploring lakes, rivers, and reservoirs across the country with an unyielding goal to enlighten viewers from a fisheye perspective. Come along and we'll investigate the habitat. Much more than a fishing show. This is an eye-opening aquatic experience. Welcome to Strike King's Hook and Look with Kim Stricker.
As avid anglers, we've all heard it before. You should have been here yesterday. We crushed them. This here today and gone tomorrow occurrence is a sad reality and unfortunately takes place more often than not. Is it the weather? Is it my depth? Is it my presentation? We unremittingly question ourselves and our abilities. More probable is the likelihood that the quality fish have simply moved, vacating the once productive area in hot pursuit of a fleeting meal. For it's the presence of nourishment which is of utmost importance for all living creatures to survive. This puzzling incidence is more prevalent on seemingly featureless bodies of water with a transitory food supply. If the food is transient, so is the angling opportunity.
There we go. Nothing wrong with that. Look at that.
A meteorological phenomenon commonly referred to as Indian summer has settled in northern Michigan the past few weeks. Untypical of an early October, the above normal temperatures have delayed the autumn transition a bit, not only to the countryside, but to the aquatic world as well. Nevertheless, Kim's friend, Humminbird Marketing Director Mark Gibson, has traveled north to share a few tips and tackle his first Great Lakes bronzeback.
So you've never caught a smallmouth?
Never caught. This will be my first time.
Well, let's see how you do.
Let's see.
There'll be no doubting if you have a fish. As I said, there's not a whole lot to get hung up on down there. Every now and then there's a log, there's a post sticking up or something.
That's nice though, not having to worry about all sorts of dragging it through tree limbs
Right.
and stuff like that.
Drop shot and tutti fruities. I like it. Give us a hint, fish. There we go. There's a good fish. That's a good one. I love catching big things. Oh. Get over here. There we go. Oh, yes. There we go. Nothing wrong with that. Look at that. That is a good, solid smallmouth on that little old tutti frutti tube. Look at that little thing. And a nice, chunky smallmouth. Now, that's your average smallmouth for Traverse Bay.
Yeah, that's a nice fish.
Nice chunk. Just something about smallmouth fishing, Mark, I'm telling you.
That's great.
Well, it's your turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly a lot of water to cover out here. Like I said,
that's the intimidating part about it.
Exactly. And that's where, like I said, the electronics comes in, is be able to use the graph to find that break line there and cut it down.
It's invaluable. No question.
Then side imaging even takes that to a different level where you cover, instead of covering that little strip under your boat, now you're able to cover
480 feet?
480 feet now, so that really starts cutting it down, trying to find those breaks out there. That's been one of the major changes that side imaging's brought, is that I think in the past people have tended to hug up against the bank and do a lot of bank fishing just because it's hard finding that structure out there in those large areas, but side imaging's kind of cut that body of water down where you're in the south or the north or wherever you are. and has made people start moving offshore and do more offshore structure fishing.
Coming up, Kim and Humminbird's Mark Gibson search for more fish the easy way, right after this. Hook and Look is brought to you by Strike King Lure Company, #1 in fishing lures. Humminbird, simply, clearly, better. Vicious Fishing Line, get vicious. And by Boat US Angler. Welcome back. Kim Stricker has downsized today, drop-shotting a Strike King Tutti Frutti tube. Typically employed for panfish, this tiny tube can be an effective tool for finicky smallmouth as well.
Pole should be coming up. Let out the line. Let it fall straight to the bottom. Now watch your line, it's going to eventually hit the bottom. It's not yet, it's pulling out line, pulling out line. It's basically pendulum them towards you. That's why I let out line.
Right, right.
Now it hit. Now work it. There you go. There you go. It ain't a giant, but it's your first smallmouth.
If I can get him in the boat, it's official. It's official. It's official.
Not exactly what I had in mind for Mark's first smallmouth. Traverse Bay can be a fickle body of water. It seems the big fish are here one day, then gone the next. So Mark and I continued to hunt. I mean, look at here. Look at here.
Yeah.
Those are fish. Look at.
Yeah, those are definitely fish.
Those are fish.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Look at there.
Yeah,
There's definitely fish here.
Yeah, definitely fish on the bottom.
Let's see if we can catch them. That feels a little better. This is a good fish, I think. That's a keeper. Couple pounders. Yeah, there might be some hope after all here.
Yep.
That's a better fish.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. 4 pounds. And he ain't done yet.
There we go.
Yeah. That's a little better. A little better. We're working our way up.
We'll get
Working our way up.
We'll get there.
But they're going for the finesse tactic.
Yeah, they're definitely biting that little.
Cool. All right.
I'll tell you a real good tip that a lot of humminbird anglers may not realize is that on any humminbird split screen, the center line between the two split screens can be moved back and forth. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is just go in and press the menu button one time and look for the split position setting, and then you can move that back. And so if you wanted to focus with GPS and 2D sonar, if you wanted to see a lot of GPS but a little bit of 2D sonar, you could just move that line over. And then if you wanted to do the otherwise, you could see a lot of 2D sonar and a little bit of GPS. So if you would, Kim, just show us how you do that.
We'll go to menu,
Yeah.
and then on the second split position, I'll split it over to the left side, exit out, and look how much GPS I have. And
Exactly, so then you still got that window of 2D sonar over there, so you can really focus on your GPS contour lines, but you got that little bitty window of 2D sonar over there. So that's a real helpful tip for anglers out there.
yep.
As Kim and Mark continued surveying for quality fish, they came across an area where the Humminbird screen literally lit up with fish holding on the bottom. In addition, they discovered several balls of baitfish in specific areas of the bay as well. Watch how Kim moves the cursor over and zooms in for greater detail. If he wanted to, he could also set a waypoint here to mark the bait ball's position.
But still, even after imaging these promising areas, our angling persistence produced minimal results. Frankly, that was the primary reason I switched to a Tutti Frutti tube. I just wanted to get bit to find out what those fish were. So in lieu of the fish not giving us much of a hint, Danny and I decided to survey the situation hook and look style. And we'll disclose exactly what we observed right after these messages.
In light of marking several fish, then experiencing a disappointing bite, Hook and Look host Kim Stricker and his son Danny have descended to the bay bottom to check out the situation firsthand.
As I expected, we immediately discovered that the fish we were marking in this area weren't smallmouth at all, but a school of white suckers slowly meandering along the bottom, which explains the lack of bites. The balls of baitfish we encountered, on the other hand, were spectacular.
Oh man, Dad, just turn your head and look back at me. Up to your right. I wish I didn't have to breathe. I know, as soon as you breathe, that whole boat moves. That is great footage, though. But I got a smallmouth in front of me, right on the edge of these alewives.
What size are the smallmouth y'all are seeing?
About 2.5 pounds. These alewives will circle right around me, just like a tornado. They just, as long as I don't breathe, I just sit here and wait. They just cover you all around.
Wow, I'll bet that is cool.
But as soon as you exhale, boy, they take off. I don't even know how to explain how wild this is.
Wow, that's gonna be cool to watch on video. That's gonna be great.
There's no doubt in my mind that after witnessing those smallmouth around those huge balls of alewives, that they follow that transient food supply, as do the salmon. That's one to run by the professor.
Professor Gerald R. Smith is the curator of fishes at the University of Michigan Museum of Zoology.
Alewives are members of the herring family. They're marine species, and they live in the North Atlantic. But they run up freshwater to spawn, so they were running into the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they could run up as far as Niagara Falls. But that's as far as they could go until the canals were dug in 1924, and they got past the Niagara Falls, through the canals, and up into the Great Lakes, and that's where the trouble started. When the alewives reached the Great Lakes, they found no top predators, which allowed them to undergo a huge population explosion. In some places, they were over 90% of the biomass in Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. So with the alewives creating such a problem, in fact, there were huge die-offs, and alewives were washing up on the beaches around Chicago and Milwaukee. They were a real nuisance and even a public health hazard. The Michigan DNR found a solution to the problem by planting Pacific salmon, especially Chinook salmon at first, and then eventually coho salmon.
And the result catapulted a booming salmon sport fishery. But has the alewife population influenced the Great Lakes smallmouth fishery? In particular, the Here Today, Gone Tomorrow movement.
The populations of alewives and the populations of salmon that follow them are undergoing some kinds of fluctuations, so that they're in a locality at one time and moved on to a different locality at another time. They're just not as abundant as they used to be, except locally at certain times. Now this creates a situation in which the smallmouth bass, which have been a part of the system up there for a long time, are apparently learning how to follow the alewife schools.
Well, that's certainly what Kim and Mark experienced this trip. They searched deeper when perhaps they should have been looking towards the shallows. Considering its enormity, clarity, lack of defined structure, and transient food supply, this body of water is most challenging and unquestionably unpredictable.
Traverse Bay presents a different kind of environment than most of the lakes where you encounter smallmouths, in that those fish, the schools of alewives and the following bass, can go for tens or even hundreds of miles following their food supply and staying in their preferred temperatures.
Each fall, the previously stocked Chinook and coho salmon return to Traverse Bay, and an average of approximately 6,000 migrate up the Boardman River to spawn then ultimately die. If 6,000 salmon were to die in that short stretch of river, it would lead to major problems in such a populated area of downtown Traverse City. So in 1987, the decision was made that the Department of Natural Resources would construct a weir and work with a contractor to harvest these fish and put them to a multitude of good uses. Michigan DNR Fisheries Management Biologist Heather Hettinger tells us more.
In this particular facility, we block the upstream passage of salmon. Today we're harvesting Chinook and coho. We pass any trout, so any lake trout, brown trout, steelhead, that kind of thing, all get passed further upriver. These guys are from American Canadian Fisheries, and they are the ones that are actually collecting the salmon that we harvest here today. They have a contract with us to take the salmon and process it for primarily pet food, fertilizer, that kind of product. So that's what we're doing today. So far, I think we're right around 23 or 400 coho and right around 400 Chinook today. So pretty good day.
Stay tuned. Professional crappie angler Jackie Van Cleave shows us what Tutti Frutti tubes were meant to catch. This portion of Hook and Look is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Evinrude. And by PADI, the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. PADI is the way the world learns to dive. Welcome back to Hook and Look. Kim has hooked up with professional crappie angler Jackie Van Cleave, and the two are surveying for Kentucky Lake crappie structure.
Yep.
Man, oh man. Hummingbird's got a good screen, hasn't it?
No, there's no question.
Man.
And I'm shooting out only 90 feet to each side.
Look at that. My goodness.
I'm gonna mark that.
Man.
I can zoom in on it
Yeah.
and mark it.
You know, on the Crappie Tournament Trail, without that hummingbird, without that showing you that bottom, you're in
Yes,
trouble.
That's no question, I can imagine.
The old traditional way's gone, that fishing all day looking for us, We're going to Stub Alley over here. It's right left of Crappie Lane.
I love it.
We found our structure, we got our buoy out. Now let's ease in there real quietly.
Put me in the game, Coach.
We're going in the game. I'm putting you in, dude.
There it is.
You got it?
It's under the trolling motor.
Oh, it's big. Isn't it?
That's a good pile.
Got it?
Ooh, you got him.
What is that? You got
Ooh.
something? What is this? Watch out. What is this?
Ooh, that is a nice crappie.
What is this? What has Jackie Wayne found here, folks? It's alive here in Kentucky Lake.
That's a white crappie.
That's a white crappie.
Yeah.
What's he doing out here? Whoa, what do you
Hello,
got?
what do I got? Put him in the live well.
In the live well. Let me get my pole in.
What do I? Jackie Wayne, what do I got?
I believe you got a fish. That's another white crappie.
That's a dandy.
What is the?
These
Look
ro-
here.
these-
Oh,
these
I've had
balls,
another
look
hit.
at-
Folks,
That's pretty nice. I don't care who you are. That's fun right there. Jackie did make me aware that there's a 10-inch size limit for both white and black crappie on Kentucky Lake, and the lake is full of keepers.
right here. See it right there? Wait a minute, now I gotta come back to you, get unhung. See, go down that way, then back up, and what have you got? You're unhung. Perfect. Thank you for the ½ ounce. That weight right there, folks, is what gets you unhung. That ½ ounce weight. You drop that baby down there and it'll pull you right out of them stumps. That's a double hook rig we use with a 2/0 bronze hook. Slide the tube over it.
Hello, hello,
Got him?
hello. Well, that's a crappie.
A crappie time. All right, way to go, Kim.
Heck yeah.
See, if Kim comes through, maybe the wind changed, they're gonna turn back on, dude.
That's a white crappie. He's got the vertical lines. All right.
Look at, oh, an attitude.
Okay, that was a white crappie. Now a black crappie is what Jackie affectionately refers to as a stubby.
Oh yeah, that's a nice stubby there. Look at there, look at there. Tutti fruity. Told Judy, look at there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that fish. Pretty fish. Look at him. Fin stowed out. He's mad, y'all. He is mad, but he is pretty.
We need to catch a mess of those.
Yeah, stubbies. Stub City, folks.
I'll tell you, if we catch more stubbies that size, we'll be changing the name of the show to Hook and Cook. Let's put that in the live well.
Sound like a winner. This is going in the live well. No doubt about it. He's a keeper. That's what it's all about. Fresh in the live well. Supper time.
Today's episode demonstrated just how useful good electronics can be when searching for not only a moving target, but specific structure as well. I want to thank Humminbird's Mark Gibson for sharing some tips and Jackie Van Cleave for a great morning in Stub City.
When visiting the Traverse City area, take pleasure in the luxurious accommodations at the Beach Condominiums Hotel Resort. Bathe in the pristine waters of Grand Traverse Bay, or simply lounge by the pool. The Beach Condos has all the amenities to make your stay a memorable one.
On our next episode, Danny and I have the lake to ourselves. It's a cool November day at home, and the largemouth are eager to play. We're jig fishing next week on Hook and Look.
Hook and Look is a Kim Stricker production.